And then some things it takes me till tomorrow. And I just start laughing for no reason. What are you laughing about? You wouldn't get it. Let's talk about opening the month. I know right now everybody's 100% focused on closing the month, correct? Say yes? And if you're not, you're lying to me by saying yes, that you need to be 100% focused on closing your month. Right now, it's all about crush time. How many of y'all started turning and burning with contests already? Let me see your hands. The rest of you need to turn and burn with challenging some people to fill up your waiting room so you can have some contests. Does that make sense? Say yes? Okay. What I'm going to share with you is what you're going to be doing at the first of next month. I want you to really grasp this. You're going to need to implement this, but right now you've got to stay focused on closing. One more time, make sense? Say yes? All right, first thing, the month starts the moment the last month ends. Y'all have all heard this. Y'all heard us say this 100 times. A couple of things we got to do. Here, we got to celebrate victories. We got to set your goals. We got to figure out who you're running. We got to get their commitment. And we got to force your calendar. Whose calendar? Yep, yours, your calendar and calendars of others, but you don't have a right to force anyone else's calendar until your calendar's full. This is not network laziness. This is called network marketing. Does that make sense? Say yes? Let's break it down. We got to celebrate the victories people have. Now, I want to share something with y'all, and this can be done. This is also done at the beginning of the month, but this is something y'all all should be doing throughout the entire month. All of you RDs, every time you have a victory. Every single time you have a victory, and a victory would be, in my opinion, considered as a new director, of course you need to connect with them and congratulate them. Does that make sense? But you are also your ambassador's eyes and ears. One of the fastest growing teams within an organization, here's what happens every single time they break a new director, a new RD, a new ND, a new PD, a new ambassador. I get a text. They don't call me and have a 20-minute conversation. I get a quick text, hey Kyle, Bob just went regional, give him some love, and they have his number. Now Bob, don't y'all know it's a big deal when Bob gets a text from me that says, hey man, congratulations on crushing out regional, can't wait to see you at the next event, you're a stud. How many of y'all know that it took me 2 seconds to do that? He's on cloud 9,000 because he just got a text from me. Guess what? They feel the same way when they get a text from your ambassador, RDs. When your ambassador sends that text, they feel the exact same way. So one of the things you can do to celebrate is not only you making that personal phone call and celebrating, but get your upline, and again, you're the eyes and ears, get your upline involved, shooting them a quick text. Make sense? Say yes? Yes. Couple other ideas, personal calls at a certain point. Everybody has their own points for an ambassador. Honestly, for you ambassadors in here, when you break an RD, you're foolish if you're not on the phone with that person personally congratulating them. You're not breaking enough RDs per month that you can't call every single one of them and congratulate them. Does that make sense? Regional director, you need to make for certain that your ambassador knows that you've got someone crossing, because they may even call them before the victory has actually happened to encourage them, and they can call them after that. Text messages is quick and simple. Public recognition on Facebook, big deal. People like to be celebrated publicly, and Facebook allows us to do that. We always are using different kinds of incentives and awards. If you do team emails, you can. The bottom line is this, guys. You've got to celebrate people that have created a victory. Celebrate it at the beginning of the month, because they're going to have a lot of victories at the end of the month, but don't just celebrate it then, celebrate it all month long. Make sense? Say yes? Yes. Oh, one other thing. Let me say one other thing. When you're celebrating those victories mid-month, it's a quick celebration, so it kind of looks like this, and I'm going to be silly for a minute. It's kind of like high five, you're a stud, now let's go to work. The mid-month celebrations, are y'all getting this? You're a stud, congratulations, let's go to work. You don't want to celebrate so much mid-month that they never get nothing else done for the rest of the month. That's just a point for you to, that's a springboard. Celebrate, springboard, let's go get the next rank knocked out. Console your temporary failures or your contemporary defeats. This is really big. As big as it is to celebrate the victories, you've got to embrace the people that missed the mark. Right? It's not a failure. It's not a defeat. It's just a hiccup in the road. It's just a bump in the road. We've got to go in and love on them for just a minute. Let's reset. Here's the good news. They're a whole lot closer to achieving the goal than what they were before they started. So now let's reset. It's a new month. We're going to reset, and we're going to go get her done this month. Does that make sense? If you don't do that, they're going to fall apart. They're going to go backwards. Somebody's got to embrace them. Somebody's got to let them know, hey, you gave it your best. Give me a hug. Let's do this together. We're going to crush it out this month, and we're going to go way beyond that. But you've got to love on them. You can't let them just sit there and feel. How many of y'all know people will start thinking they're a loser? Even if they're a winner, if you don't go embrace them, in their head, they're going to go, man, I'm a loser. I was on that call. I heard everybody got it. You know, they all did what they said they were going to do. And, you know, I missed mine. I'm just a loser. I can't do this. And as soon as they start talking stupid, you've lost them. Because whatever they're speaking is going to be existing, right? So you've got to stop that. You've got to love on them, let them know they're a winner. This was just a speed bump in the road, and let's go on out and get it done this month. Make sense? Y'all say yes?
Yes.
We've got to set goals at the beginning of every month. And I want you to get this. A lot of people, they just like, okay, I got my goal. No, man, you got to get it drawn out. You got to sit down and draw it out, figure out where the heck you're going. If you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You need to know where you're going rank-wise. And in order to get there rank-wise, you need to know how much volume you need to get there. You've got to get sticks and circles on this. Draw it out on a piece of paper. You've got or whiteboard. A lot of you have got the war room, right, with a big whiteboard. You've got to have it drawn out. You've got to break it down. You can't just say, you know, if you're sitting here and you're a regional director, you just can't make a statement that I want to go ambassador next month. Or at the beginning of next month, so in March, when you launch your month, you just can't make a decision you want to go ambassador, and it happens. You have to understand how you're going to get there. And if you haven't drawn it out and understand what it's going to take to get there, that's kind of a stupid thing to say. Would you agree? It sounds good. It makes you feel good. Until you come up like three levels short, right? You land somewhere between regional and national because you didn't know how you were going to get where you're going. Your goals that you're setting, they've got to be realistic. I'm not saying that going ambassador next month's not realistic. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is if you ain't got a clue how you're going to get there, it ain't realistic. Does that make sense? You've got to draw it out. You've got to know what you've got to do, where you've got to have the volume. It's got to be realistic. It's got to be challenging. Your goals have got to be realistic. They've got to be challenging. They've got to be written. Well, I'm just going to do it on my iPhone. No, you're not. That's dumb. I ain't never seen nobody ever succeed that put their goals in a daggum iPhone. Put it in your iPhone, yes, but you better paste it on your daggum mirror in your bathroom. You better put it on the dashboard of your car. You better put it where it's in front of you. How many of y'all know life gets in the way? About the time you turn the corner, something happens in life. Forgot what your goals were when you even got started. You've got to put it out there where it's staring at you. And then you've got to have a mindset that you are not going to lose. You've got to have a zero failure mindset that whatever that goal is, you're going to go get it. There ain't nothing that pisses me off more. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. There ain't nothing that pisses me off more than somebody say, well, I'm going to try to do this month. I can't even work with no triers. I can't. I cannot work with triers. I hate that. Don't tell me try crap. You're either going to do it or you're not. Pick a side, left or right. I don't care. But don't sit there on the fence like you're doing a balancing act, like a daggum stork on one leg. It is storks to do that, right? Yep. Penguins. What? Yeah, them things. But you gotta, don't try, do it. Dadgummit, either do it or don't do it, but make up your mind, because the first thing of achieving a goal is being decisive, right? You gotta make a decision, an unwavering decision. You're gonna go make it happen. Is it possible that you're gonna miss? Yeah. Is your life gonna come to the end if you miss? No. But I'll promise you this, if you aren't decisive and you don't make a decision, you're going to go do it, I can almost guarantee you failure. I can almost guarantee you failure. Would you agree with me? Could you imagine if you played football, and I don't study sports much, but if you played football, and they hiked you the ball, would you agree with me that you better have unwavering belief that you're going to go to the end zone? Because them fellas that's looking at you, they big. They want to eat you, or whatever they do, right? They tackle you, same thing. You better have unwavering belief where you're going. Is there a chance you're not going to make it? Sure. But I promise you, you absolutely will not make it if you haven't decided that's where you're going to go. Have y'all ever watched a football game where the guy gets the ball and turns into a sissy and goes the wrong direction? He was undecisive. Y'all see what I'm talking about? That's what your business will do if you don't make decisions. You've got to know where you're going, and that's going to be broke down by volume you're going to need, how many people you need to personally enroll. Now let's think about this for a minute. Can you control how many people you're going to personally enroll? You think you can? I guarantee you nobody in this room can control how many you're going to personally enroll. Now what you can control is your activity level. Would you agree? If you want to personally enroll 10, you probably are going to need to go challenge. You're going to need to go challenge about 150 folks. You can't control how many that you enroll, but you can control your activity as to what you do. So everybody in here is going to have their own, it's a big word. I can't remember the big word. Not criteria, but ratio. Yeah. Don't ask me to spell that, Joker, but that's a ratio. How many of y'all excited? You ain't got to be real smart to be rich. Okay. All of you is going to have your own ratio. For some of you Latin folks, your ratio is going to be much higher than the boring American folks. Y'all are more excited. How many of y'all know excitement? Excitement creates action in people, right? And if you ain't Latin, all you got to do is start acting Latin. You get fired up. You get excited. You just get jacked up on life and then start going and challenging people. Half of them's going to get involved because they want to lose weight. Half of them's going to get involved because they want to help kids. Half of them's going to get involved because they want to make 1,000 out of that 10,000 we give away every week. And half of them's going to get involved just because you're freaking crazy, right? They want to be around you. You're energetic. People's always, and I'm babbling, but I'm going to tell y'all this. People's always talking about, Kyle, I challenged everybody I know, and nobody wants to get into the challenge project 10 with me. The last part was right. They want to get in the project challenge, project 10 challenge, just not with you because you're boring, right? So you got to get jacked up. If that means going and running a daggum lap or two around your house to get your whatever it takes, you got to get excited. If you got to get in your car and put on some boom boom when you're driving down the road, whatever it takes, right? I'm just going to tell you, I ain't going to lie to you, I go back to some old school Run DMC. Where's Melanie? Melanie, true story? Old school Run DMC right before I go talk to somebody. You better look out because the King of Rock has rolled up on you. Just telling you. Y'all think I'm joking, man? I get all fired up. I come out there, arms folded. Go to visual, draw this out, next thing we got to do is we got to identify who it is that we're going to run. Every single month we got to identify who it is we're going to run. We need to base this on your goals. So you set your goals, you know where you need the volume, now we've got to go find who it is, where you need the volume, where you need what? Volume. Who are you going to run? We've then got to understand that there is definitely a difference between running and managing. You see, I call it my 2 years of semi-retirement. I did a whole lot of managing. I sat in my house in Vero Beach with my flip-flops on, with my ball cap on so my head didn't get too much sun, and I got on the phone and I managed people. And I maintained a business. That's not running. Kay Hyde, Kay sitting in the back. Kay, when I come out there, we start early in the morning and we stop when we're done. True story? Midnight or later in Tallahassee, Florida. Are we breaking any ranks out there? On fire. My days are running together. Day before yesterday, Chris put Chris Toll in. I looked at him and I said, used to in old days, back in 2010, 11, 12, we put someone in and they went rising star in less than 24 hours. And normally the people that's really going to tear this thing up, that's what they do, but I doubt you can do that. What happened to Chris Toll?
8 hours later, rising star director.
8 hours later, rising star director. He ain't no networker, man. He's got tattoos and a beard. That jerk got a goatee. I'm just trying to make a point here. Running's different. When I'm in a marketplace running, truly running. You got your shirt sleeves rolled up. You're out there with the folks working, right? That's what I'm talking about. It's not managing. It's booking challenge parties in the marketplace of the person you're working with. You've got to go do it for them till they do it with you, till they'll do it by themselves. If you don't do it that way, you're just talking. You're just yakking. You're telling people what to do, and nobody really needs you doing that. They've got somebody at work called a boss that does it pretty good. They don't need your help, right? So you've got to go do it. You've got to go show them how to do it. Do what? Do everything. Make the calls, do the chat, run the challenge party, close the challenge. You do everything. You're the leader. You're a regional director and above. You're the leader. You go do it all. You can't manage people. You got to run. God, it sounds like a lot of work. It is. Well, I ain't doing all that. Don't stay broke. But if you want what someone else has, you got to go do what someone else does. Does that make sense? If you want what Nick Sarnicola's got, you better go do what Nick Sarnicola does. If you want what Freddie Malero's got, you better go do what Freddie Malero does. Does that make sense? If you want what Tim Kirkland's got and Holly Kirkland's got, you better go do what Tim and Holly does. And I'm going to tell you this, you better buckle your britches up, because Tim Kirkland is a machine. And if you're going to run at his rate, giddy up, you better get ready. See, I tried to run with him back in 2010. We were moving so fast, the daggum wind blowed my hair right out my head. That's not a true story, but it sounded good. Once you identify who you're running, you got to get a commitment out of them. I don't like asking people for that. Then don't waste your time. If a person won't commit to the run with you, they're not willing to make sacrifices, you can't run them. You can't run them. Listen, if they're going to be out of town for half the month, you can't run them. If they're like, it's not that big of a deal if I hit regional director or not. You can't run them. Go find somebody else to run. They're not the ones. You just keep digging down in your team. But when they're willing to make the commitment, to do what it takes to make it happen, they're willing to sacrifice, then you've got to set some goals with them. You've got to give them your vision of what this month is going to look like. What exactly are we going to go out and do? We got to give them that game plan and that strategy. And it looks something like this. Listen, it might be, hey, Bob, listen, we're going to run, but I'm not holding your hand. You're going to be over here in this market or on this side of town. I'm going to be on this side of town. I'm doing this challenge party, but I'm going to call in and close that one out. Divide and conquer, but you've got to have a plan. Make sense? Say yes? And then when you're not in the marketplace, you've got to be on the phone with them. Kyle, you talking about micromanaging? No, I'm talking about accountability. But see, I covered that in the beginning. If I'm running you, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, hey, we're talking every day. Because I need to know that what we've discussed yesterday happens today. We've got to talk. Do y'all understand the most valuable asset? Everybody in this room, here's one thing that's a common denominator for all y'all. Everybody in this room, the most valuable asset you have is time. It's the only thing you have you can't get back. If you're going to sow your time, if you're going to take time away from your family, from your kids if you've got those, your grandbabies if you've got those, your spouses if you've got those, if you're going to take that away from them and give it to somebody else, don't you believe it should be worth your time? If they're not committed, how can you commit to them? Get their commitment. Hold them accountable. Force your calendar. You drive a team through results. That's what you do. You've got to force your calendar. And I'm going to hammer this because you've got to get this. And I said it early on, you don't have a right to force anybody else's until you force yours. When we started teaching forcing a calendar, people said, oh, I see how it works. I get everybody on my team doing stuff and I just sit back and relax. You're first. Matter of fact, if you're a leader, part of being a leader is everything first. You do everything first before your team. You go first. Challenge parties is what causes everything to happen. If you don't have challenge parties, you can do everything else we're talking about, not do the challenge parties, not force the calendars, cause the challenge parties to take place, and nothing happens. Make sense? Say yes? Once yours is forced, then force everybody else's. Never let, and this is kind of tying back in to what Heather was talking about just a minute ago, never let new people go without. Those welcome calls is absolutely huge. I'm talking about kicking off your month. And you need to force your calendars at that point, but you're going to force your calendar throughout the month through those welcome calls. When you connect with people, you're talking to them, you're auditing that system, you're making sure everything was done, and they don't have their challenge party scheduled. If you can do it, schedule it in yours. If you can't schedule it in yours, then force the calendar of the person that's putting them on the phone with you. Make sense? Say yes? Are y'all getting this? If you're running Sue to RD, is that who they use? Sue? Yeah, you're running Sue to RD. How many of y'all know you're going to have some challenge parties? You're going to have to break some Rising Star directors. Does that make sense? Because you don't run someone, and I hate even using this term, it's a little bit confusing. Do y'all understand you really don't run someone to regional director? You kind of break a regional director by running people to Rising Star. Does that make sense? So when you're looking at this and you're drawing it out, you've got to start identifying how many challenge parties you're going to have in each organization underneath Sue. You're going to have to figure out how many challenge parties you've got to run or somebody else has got to run, and you're calling in and closing out. That's going to cause you to break the Rising Star directors that you need in Sue's team to get her across the line. You can't just guess at this. You can't just say, okay, we're going to get her to regional director. We're just going to like shoot a shotgun and blow a bunch of holes. No, you've got to be controlled chaos. You've got to go crazy, but you've got to know where you're going to put that energy and time. Does that make sense, y'all? In order to do that, I would encourage you to know the math. Is this an exact science? No, but it's pretty doggone close. A quality challenge party. A quality challenge party, meaning this. Meaning that the person that's holding the challenge party has challenged enough people. Meaning that the person holding the challenge party has followed up with everyone that they sent a text to and invited everybody to their challenge party. And a quality challenge party means that you audited that system. And how do you audit that system? Generally sit down beside them and do it with them. Earlier just a minute ago, I said the most valuable asset you've got is your time. If that's the case, let me ask you this. Why would you go to a challenge party? Why would you go do a challenge party when you don't have a clue if anyone's going to show up? Because you weren't involved in the challenging process to fill that party up. If you spend as much time helping people follow up with the people they sent text to as you do doing challenge parties, do you know you won't waste any time? Because you'll know approximately how many folks are going to be at that party when you get there. Does that make sense? If you do that, you're going to have what I call a quality challenge party. When you have a quality challenge party, it will 100% of the time lead to a star. It'll 100% of the time lead to a star. You're going to generate $2,000 in volume. Between promoters, between customers, you're going to generate the numbers with a quality challenge party. So, if that's the case, you can see the metrics right here. If you have 6 quality challenge parties, you're going to break a car. Hence, the stars in cars, yes? 18 good parties at ND. Might you have to do 24? Yes. 18 quality parties. Might you have to do 30? Yes. But if you pre-party with them on 18 of them, we fill the house up and we have a quality challenge party, you're going to need about 18 of them. 36 good parties are presidential. 75 good parties in ambassador. Let me ask y'all a question. Would y'all be willing to go out and do this? Work your tail off to help people pre-party for challenge parties. 75 days of your life. And then show up at their house and do a challenge party for them. 75 days of your life. Would you? Yes. If the answer is yes, you'll go ambassador. You don't go ambassador by just talking about doing challenge parties. You don't go ambassador by thinking about helping someone fill their house up. You take ownership, and as an RD and above, we have an obligation. Our obligation is to book that challenge party, it's to fill that challenge party, it's to run that challenge party, it's to close that challenge party out. And if you focus on that, do it 75 times, 75 quality parties, you're going to hit a home run. I want to bring somebody up here real quick. There he's back. Dela Cruz, come up here, Mr. Superstar. Y'all give him a hand real quick. I know you're an absolute machine. Kind of share with us what's going on and what just happened.
Okay, I had somebody start December 15th. and we basically did a challenge party every day. This person was fired up. They had that, you know when you got that fire burning in your eyes like you want it so bad? Yes?
Yeah.
I could see it, right? So I could see it. I was like, so how fast do you want to go? She's like, as fast as I can. Whatever you're at, I want to be there. So I said, all right. So we basically did a challenge party every single day. We booked it out. Now every time somebody brand new got in, we booked the challenge party right there. And so we did that, 15 days. This is during Christmas time now, right? December 15th to December 30th or 31st, I don't know, however many days there are. She broke regional, maybe got to about 15,000 or something like that. And then drove it into January, she broke national. So, but we were literally in a different home every night. Not the same home, you know, hey, let's get together and hang out, right? Same place, same week, you know, every Thursday here. No, we were like different home, because every single new person, to me, is like a new list of 100. Anybody who comes into my organization, new list of 100. I'm running somebody else to national this month, and this is all right here in Orlando.
Woo!
Okay? I'm not from Orlando, I'm from Hawaii. I moved here about 7 months ago. Didn't know anyone. Okay? So, I got another person. I just finished up the calendar. We got 13 challenge parties for Big Rob, so he can break national this month. 13 challenge parties starting the 25th till March 2nd, I think, or 1st. So basically, 13 parties just booked, all brand new promoters within, you know, put the 30-day report, 50 new promoters here in Orlando, right? For somebody who's not from Orlando, I'm from Hawaii, like I said. So make it happen, guys.
Hold on, Cruz. Hold on. Now, when you mean to tell me nobody tells you, my friends don't do challenge parties. You don't ever get that. You don't get.
And then I'll just tell them your friend's not successful.
Boom! Don't give him a hand. And I'll tell you this. You better run him close. That joker's climbing through the ranks. He's going 5 and beyond. He's on fire. Why? Because he believes. Why? Because he believes. Before I bring up the next, and I'm out of time, but I'm sitting here looking at y'all's eyes. I can't tell if y'all half asleep or half dead. Did y'all have a job today or something y'all went to? Y'all better wake up. Y'all better wake up, because I'm going to tell y'all this. Half the problem with people that ain't growing, if you find your business, if you're brand new, close your ears. But the rest of y'all, listen to me. If you find your business not where you want it, then fire yourself and rehire yourself. You don't believe. You better start believing, because once you start believing, you'll start achieving. Until you start believing, you ain't going to do crap. You got to start believing. Does that make sense? Because while you're over there sleeping, everybody else is coming into business from Hawaii that don't know nobody in Orlando, and they go in to make friends with all your people, and they put your family into business while you're over there sleeping because you don't believe. Now, dadgummit, I'm already successful. If you don't want to be successful, fine. But it ain't going to be because me not telling you the daggum truth. Does that make sense?